Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Hope you are well. If you're new, welcome, and if you're visiting, thanks for stopping by again. By the way, my name is Abby and I do makeup and skincare themed videos. So I do a lot of reviews, hauls, and makeup and skincare type videos here and there. So today I wanted to do a little continuation of my e.l.f. concealer and foundation review. So I did a thorough review and wear test for both the concealer and the foundation, and I basically had because I've collected quite a lot of e.l.f. products in the time that I have been aware of the brand. I was actually waiting to have enough so I could do a full face of e.l.f. or at least almost a full face of e.l.f. And then the foundation and concealer launched, and then I thought I'd do it, but then I didn't actually have the time, so I ended up doing just the foundation and concealer video. But now I actually do have a little bit of time, and I thought let me just do a full face. So this won't be a wear test, this will be just me trying out some of their products and letting you know my thoughts. And yeah, so let's get to it. So if you're not already subscribed, please do consider subscribing. If you do like my videos, there is no pressure, but it is free. And if you feel like you want to see more of my videos, but you don't want to have to keep coming back to check when I upload, because I don't have a consistent upload schedule right now, you can hit the notification button and then that will let you know when I upload a new video. And let's get into the actual makeup. So e.l.f. is one of those really lovely, affordable brands. I do have a little bit of a thing about e.l.f. products, and not necessarily a good thing. And what I find a little bit annoying, I know this isn't really a good way to start off, but what I find a little bit annoying about their prices is that although they're very affordable, you also don't necessarily get a lot of products for your money. And what I mean by that is taking something like this, for instance. So this is their e.l.f. Correct and Set Eye Powder. This is the teeny tiny sample size pot, and this is full size. This is how they sell it. And I think this was like maybe, is it £4 or £5 or something thereabouts? My pricing is probably incorrect. And yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that I got this on their half price sale, because I collected a lot of these products, anytime they have like a 50% off promotion, I would get, you know, a few products and stash it. So yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that I got this half price, I would have been very, very disappointed if this was what I got and I paid full price. So I don't feel like you always get value for money in terms of like the amount of product that you get with their products, even though they are cheap. So something like this will end up being really, really expensive if you were to buy a full size. Like if you were to compare this to a normal setting powder, which is like about this size, and you were paying this amount of money, are we in focus? No, we are not. So if you were to get this type of powder in the normal size, you will probably pay something upwards of £30 or up, you know, more to get the same quantity. So if you understand what I mean, so that's what I find a little irritating about some of their products. You don't always get value for money, or you don't always get the amount of products you feel you're gonna get until it arrives. And because it's online as well, it's hard to tell. But apart from that, I do generally like their products. At least the two products I've consistently tried from them is the foundation and the concealer. And I have this in 2 shades, and I have this in 2 shades as well. But today I will demo both shades just so you can see. The shade I like, that I think is the closest to my complexion, is the shade Cocoa. And I have both concealers in the shade Deep Olive and Deep Chestnut. So Olive is more golden yellowy, Chestnut is more neutral. And yeah, so let's just dive into the products. I think I'll start off in the way that I normally apply my products. So what I think I would do first is apply my primer. I've already done my normal skincare routine for the day. So I've lost the lid already, but this is their tone adjusting face primer. This is the extra large size, and it's meant to correct dullness, and it's for deep skin tones. So it has a thick consistency. It's a silicone base type of primer, and I bought it because at the time I had a lot of dark acne scars and things like that, and I wanted a primer that I thought was going to correct that. I have worn this a few times and I do have an opinion on it. So some of these products won't necessarily be first impressions, but a lot of them will be. So I have worn this before, and I won't say that it's an all-day primer. It's definitely not an all-day primer. Like, it doesn't last all day, but it lasts a good amount of time, like say 5-6 hours before you start to see shine, assuming you set your foundation and, you know, powder and everything else. Yeah, but it lasts me the whole day in terms of keeping my foundation on. But it doesn't stop me getting oily, and I suppose that's not the claim to this foundation. This is more of a tone adjusting foundation. This is more of a tone adjusting primer, so I can understand that. So as you can see, the majority of my acne scars are fading over time, but they're still there, and I was expecting more for this, especially because it has this orange color to it. I just thought it would just automatically cancel out the darkness, but you can still see them. So I think I might zoom in a bit just so you can see. So that's the primer done. Next is one of my favorite products from e.l.f. and it is, if I can find it, their under eye sheer blurring primer. It's this one. And it looks like this. And I feel this definitely helps any concealer from creasing too much into your into the lines or creases in your under eyes. So I do have 2 shades of the foundation, like I said, so I'm just gonna grab the 2. So the first foundation I have is the Cocoa shade, which I will pump onto the back of my hands. And the next is Caramel. It's more of a beigey type of shade. So I feel like Cocoa is a good enough match for my skin. I do have some of their brushes as well, by the way. So I will be using some of their brushes. So I have their Ultimate Blending Brush. Oh, definitely, I'm gonna like this brush. It is. It's not as densely packed as my normal brush, but it is definitely super soft and it looks really good. So what I'm gonna do is just to mix. So mixing the 2 shades, that's the shade that I get, but it is definitely too light. So what I'm gonna do is just apply it to the center of my face and then go in with Cocoa. I'm just gonna do another pump. And I think this foundation oxidizes, and definitely the concealer also oxidizes as well, so bear that in mind. I might have to do another pump of this as well. So as you can see, there's a slight bit of sheen. As you can see, there's a slight bit of sheen to the foundation. It just looks like a lovely skin finish. And the brush is so soft. It's just blending the foundation out really well. So next I'm going to move on to concealer. So today I will be applying Deep Olive. So I'm just using a Makeup Revolution blending sponge. So I'm going to go in again. The one thing I will say with the concealer is that the next shade before this is way too light. So they definitely need to improve on the shade. But if you see my video, or if you've seen my video already, you know how I feel about the concealer shade range. So the next thing I want to try is their contour palette. I do have the Correct and Set eye powder, but when I did try this before, it's a banana. It's meant to be a banana shade, but when I did try it, I felt like it clung onto the patches, not patches, it clung onto the foundation in patches. It was a bit patchy and it was way too light. So what I was going to do was to use, what do you call it? I was going to use the shade over here to set my under eye area and then hopefully use this to contour. So this is the deep contour palette. And then I'll go over it with the banana powder, but I want to have a powder that's closer to my skin tone shade. And then this is what it's actually being washed out, so you can't even see. But hopefully you can see it's quite pale. Then I'm going to set the whole of my face with this powder over here. Hopefully it should be a good match. I feel like the lighting in here is off because the sun is setting and I'm trying to get this done as soon as possible. But hopefully I should be able to get you another shot once I'm done so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to try and contour with this shade. It looks like it might be deep enough. So I'm going to use another e.l.f. brush. So this is their Cheek and Cream powder brush, but I feel like it's good for chiseling out my cheekbones. Next, I'm going to chisel out my nose a little bit with that same shade. So I also have the contour palette, so I also have the cream blush palette, but because it is a cream blush palette, I actually thought it was a powder one. I didn't realize until it arrived in the post. So I won't be able to use this, but I do have another blush that I can use. This is the Aqua Infused Blush and Bronzer. It's more of a pinky toned blush, which I don't normally go for. I tend to go for more corally blushes, but let's see if it works. I'm going to try a little bit. So this is also, this is their blush and bronzer. I'm not sure if I should use this bronzer. It seems like it has a bit of a sheen to it. I think I'll skip the bronzer and I'll just try and use the blush and see. I'm not sure if it's showing up. I can't see it. And I bet it's probably applying on camera and I just can't see it myself. No, it probably is. When I come to edit, it will probably show up. And again with this powder here, the one next to the contour shade, just to set my smile lines. I also have the illuminating palette, which I'm going to try and use to highlight. I don't know if I've actually bothered to... Okay, so this is what it looks like. It seems quite pale. I'm going to use their highlighting brush. I'm going to use their highlighting brush and see how that applies. And then I'm going to swatch this shade. They are all very, very powdery. I think they're just supposed to be very just like light powders. I don't think they're supposed to be like the typical highlight. Let me just try the deeper shade, which is in this section over here. Yeah, it's not really doing anything for me. Starting to make it look a bit radiant, but like a little natural glow. I'm not sure if you can see. It probably is working, but it's not the kind of highlight that I like. So I did buy one of their baked highlighters, and this is in the shade Pink Diamond. I did want the other one, that's more of a golden color, similar to this. So this is a free item when I made a purchase, and this is their baked eyeshadow in Enchanted. And it looks like this. I would have preferred a highlighter similar to this, or like slightly deeper. Let me just scrape a little bit over, because I did hear, I've seen a few people review e.l.f.'s products, and they do mention that there's a bit of an overspray on their highlighters, that you have to scrape the top layer off, which is just unnecessary admin in my opinion. So I've scraped a little bit off, and the payoff is a lot better. Even then, it's still a little bit powdery. So that's the shade over here. So I'm going to swatch this shade. This is the highlighter in Pink Diamonds. And this is the shade Pink Diamonds. So as you can see, it looks quite chalky. I don't know. I'm gonna try a little bit, and let's just see how it looks. Oh, it's definitely doing something. I'm gonna go over it with the eyeshadow, the baked eyeshadow in Enchanted, and let's see how that looks. Yeah, this is a bit, oh well, I think I might have gone over. Oh my gosh, this is. I'm not sure how I feel about these highlighters, or maybe it was the brush, I'm not sure. The brush is fine, but it just takes a little getting used to. Okay, so I'm gonna try their brow pencil. This is their ultra precise brow pencil in the shade Neutral Brown. And it just looks very similar to other brow pencils I already have. Oh, this looks quite grey. Oh dear. So this is the shade over here. I don't know, it feels a bit waxy. And like it's not light enough, like it's not dark enough rather. So what I'm gonna do is take one of these e.l.f. palettes and use it as a mirror. Something, but it's definitely not dark enough. So I'm going to use my Primark eye pencil. Now I almost forgot, there was a highlight shade in here which would have been perfect, so I'm going to try a little bit as if I don't have enough highlight on my cheeks. I'm going to swatch it so you can see. I'll swatch it here. That's not a really good swatch. Let me swatch it here so you can see. Not sure if you can see, but it's definitely picked up. something and I've totally gone overboard. But I wouldn't normally apply this much highlighter at all, but it's just trying to test out all these products. Anyway, back to the brows. So I've got my Makeup Gallery eyebrow pencil. So this is what one brow looks like. I'm going to do the other brow off camera and come back. Okay, so my brows are on. Next, I'm going to try out two of their eyeshadow palettes. I do actually have a couple of products for eyes. Or at least I only want to do one eye look. So I am probably... I don't know. So this is their Pop of Glitter Makeup Transformer Gel. And then I have their Smudge Pot, which is in the shade Brownie Points or Brownie. It's a long-lasting eyeshadow and eyeliner. Okay, that's interesting. So it looks like this. I also have their Aqua Beauty Molten Liquid Eyeshadow in Liquid Gold. I'm hoping some of these products are still in stock, as in they haven't like stopped selling them or anything. This is in the shade Liquid Gold, and I'm pretty sure I have another one, but so I have it in the shade Liquid Gold and brushed Copper. I didn't realize I didn't have my mic plugged in all this time. It was in Liquid Gold, by the way. This is Liquid Gold and this is brushed Copper. This is brushed Copper and this is Liquid Gold. And then I have two of their eyeshadow palettes in, what is this, Mad for Matte and Rose Gold. Normally I would go for Mad for Matte, but I think I might go for the Rose Gold. Just because, thinking of the lip options that I have, I only have two lip options and they're both red. So this is the Rose Gold eyeshadow palette. I will do swatches separately so you can see. But of course that's not a guarantee of how they will perform on the eyes. And this is the Mad for Matte. So comment down below if you want me to use this separately in another look. But I think I might go for this. I mean, we'll see, let's see. I might be able to add maybe a pop of colour from this onto somewhere on my eyes. I don't know. But let's see. Okay, so I don't have an eyeshadow primer. But what I from e.l.f. What I do have is the... Ouch. I just cut my finger. What I do have is the Revolution Cut Crease Canvas. And I've been meaning to try this. So let me just try this in this video and see how it performs, if I can get it out. So I'm gonna brush it, blend it out with my concealer brush. And this is in the shade Etch. So I'm gonna go in with this large fluffy brush by Jessup. And I'm gonna go in with this dark shade over here. And then I'm going to dip into this shade right next to it. So next I'm going to take a smaller smudger brush and take that same colour below my lash line. So I'm going to take this pink shade over here and use that on my lower lash line as well. So next I'm going to cut my crease and we'll see what I come up with. So I've just used a really tiny brush to cut my crease. I do wish I bought, I wish I chose a lighter shade in the cut crease canvas, but this is gonna have to do. So I'm gonna take this shade over here. It's not really as shimmery as I thought it was gonna be, so I can't see it. So next I'm going to take this shade. So next I'm going to take this shade over here. This shade. And then next I'll go into this shade with the same brush. Then I'm going to take a clean blending brush and do the same with the dark brown shade, the darkest brown shade. So this is what I want to say is the finished look, but I don't want to leave it that way. So I'm going to take the lighter shade in the palette and apply that in my inner corner. I'm just bringing it up a bit. So, because my battery is about to die, I'm going to finish the other eye and come back and show you something close to what the finished look is going to be like. Okay, so I have finished this other eye, and I also went in with my Ankara Organic Certified Black eyeliner. It is the blackest eyeliner I have found, and this is what it swatches like. So I applied my eyeliner to my lower lash line and tried to tightline a bit. I say tried. I'm not really one for applying black eyeliner to my eyes. I actually don't really like the look, to be honest. It just feels quite harsh, so I didn't go too heavy. I'm going to try the e.l.f. 3-in-1 mascara in Very Black, and it has this interesting nib to it, which should hopefully help me get some volume to my lashes. So this is what my lashes look like, and this is what my lashes look like before. So that's the after, that's the before. So it has definitely given me a lot of volume, so I do like this mascara for that. The only thing is it's a bit awkward trying to get into the corners of my eyes with the ball at the end, but I like the look. I'm going to attempt false lashes again. I'm going to try my Duo Quick Set Strip Lash. It's meant to set your lashes in 5 seconds. And I'm going to try it with this cheap false lashes by Fern McCann. And it's the Aphrodite lashes. And I got it for £1 at Poundland. And I'm also going to apply... I'm not sure if I'm going to apply liquid eyeliner. I might not need to. Might not need to, but even if I don't, I think I'm quite happy with this look as it is, which is unusual. Usually I have to apply some kind of eyeliner of some sort. So before I do that though, I'm going to finish my lips. So I have two red options for my lips. So they're both actually red colors. One is called Red Vixen and it's the liquid lipstick. And the other is a matte lip color in Rich Red. This is the matte lip color in Rich Red. And with a look like this, obviously you can go with a nude, but I just want something to stand out. So I'm going to line my lips with my Revolution lip liner in the shade Glory. And this is the shade Red Vixen. It's a deeper red. That's Red Vixen. The color applies really, really well. And for now, it feels really comfortable on the lips. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to apply the lashes. If it doesn't work, I'm going to have to apply a black liquid liner over it. But let's see how it goes. If it doesn't, I'm just going to come back with the same face. But for now, this is my finished look. I'm going to attempt lashes and then come back and show you what the finished look looks like. Hi everyone, so I am back and I ended up actually applying the lashes. So I will definitely say this Dual Lash Quick Set strip lash adhesive definitely makes a heck of a difference. It definitely did help me out. I did make a few mistakes, so I had to clean up over my cut crease, and I got the black glue kind of all over my lid, but you know, you can't even tell because I cleaned it up with the cut crease and went over it with the same eyeshadow. So I do really like this look. It definitely turned out really well as far as I'm concerned. The only thing is I have lost daylight as per usual. What's new on my channel? So this is my finished look, and I've been wanting to practice doing a cut crease like this, and I've seen so many videos and I figured I might as well just give it a go. You know, the best way to conquer your fear is to face it head on. So I thought, let me give it a go, and I'm really, really pleased with the way it looks. So this is what it looks like. And the lash, you know, the lashes, I'm not the best person at applying lashes, but I feel like the lashes they look really nice. I'm not professional, you know, I don't really like lashes, to be very honest with you. That's probably because I'm not used to them, but I don't really like them. But I definitely appreciate the kind of difference that they do make to a makeup look like this, which is quite dramatic. So without this, you know, my makeup look wouldn't really stand out. You know, the cut crease wouldn't stand out the way it should. So I'm definitely loving the lashes. So in terms of the other products I used, I did already tell you what I was feeling as I was applying the makeup products. But just to kind of round it up so you know exactly my thoughts. So first was the primer. So that's the tone adjusting face primer. I like this primer. It is nice for a good couple of hours of wear, and it does help fill in your pores if anything. It doesn't really help correct the dark marks or anything, scars like that. It doesn't do that, and I wish it did. I mean, if this primer only had a little bit more pigment, it would be a revolutionary product. So you know, if anyone can get this to e.l.f. and make that recommendation, I will be so grateful. If this toner, why do I keep saying toner? It's because it says tone on it. If this primer had more pigment, more orange pigment, and it could actually be a primer and a corrector, I don't think I know of any products like that can act like a primer and actually cover scars. If that could happen, if they could add more orange pigment to this, you know, they would be in with, you know, a really good product, but it doesn't really do that. And then what did I apply? I've already talked about my sheer under eye blurring primer. It is amazing. If you have creasy concealers, use this primer with them and see how they apply, but I think it will make a huge difference. So the foundation and concealers, you already know how I feel about those. I made a video about it. I will link it down below. Love them. The foundation does tend to go oily a little quicker than I would prefer. So you do need a mattifying primer and a powder with it, to be honest, but it does give a really good skin-like finish. So next, I used the contour powder on all over my face. I used the highlighter, the shade, which is the shade closest to my finger here, my little finger, and I used the lighter shade next to it, and the contour shade and the skin tone shade, which is closer to my shoulder in the bottom row. I use every single shade and I do like it, but it's not enough to keep me matte. I will still need to go over with the mattifying primer, because before I turned on the camera I noticed I was starting to get a little bit dewy in the corners of my nose. So yeah, so this is a good basic face primer, and the contour powder is deep enough to contour. So yeah, it definitely did something. I think there's a little bit of a stripy situation going on there, but that's all right. And what else did I use after? So after I used the under eye setting powder. No, I didn't use that actually. I do actually have the under eye setting powder, which is a clear transparent powder, but I actually did end up using that. So I did use the Correct and Set eye powder in banana deep tone. It's supposed to be deep tone, but it is very light. It's a very light shade of banana powder. That actually did brighten up my under eyes a bit, but if you are of a darker skin tone, you need to go under your eyes with a normal powder that's closer to your skin shade, and then go in with this. If you're going with this first, you're going to have like a white ashy cast that basically the powder is going to grip onto the concealer that you're trying to set, and it just won't look nice. So go in with the skin tone shade and then go in with this powder, and you're going to have that brightening effect. So after that, I think I applied the what did I apply? Oh, I tried the illuminating palette, which is meant to be like a highlighting palette. It's a very light shade. It's almost ashy looking. It didn't really do what I wanted it to do. I thought it was going to be like a straight up highlighting palette. It did not do that. It's more of a matte highlight, almost like you're brightening up your face with some light powders, but they look like they have shimmers in them. So it's a bit of a weird product. It doesn't have enough shimmer to be a highlighter, but then it's not matte enough to be like an all over face powder. So I don't know. It's a bit of a funny one. I will have to give it another go, but for now it's a bit of a write-off for me. And then I went in with the highlighter that I did buy, which was, so this is the baked highlighter in the shade Pink Diamonds, and it's a very cool tone highlighter. It did actually do something. I didn't think it was. The only thing with this highlighter is you have to scrape off the top layer. There's a bit of an overspray on top, which stops you getting the pigment. So after that, you will be able to use it, but then it's a bit of a dry formula. It's a baked formula, but I did expect it to not be as dry. And then I went over that highlight with the baked eyeshadow in the shade Enchanted. It's more of a golden shade, which is better for my skin tone. I do like that. I actually will continue using it as a highlighter. And then after that, I forgot about my the blush that I used. So I used the Aqua Infused blush from the from this little palette here, and so the brush, I couldn't quite tell if it was showing up on my skin tone. I still am not convinced because I can't really see it in the camera, so I don't know if it's pigmented enough, but maybe I just needed to go heavier with it. But for now, I'm not sure about this, but the bronzer looks like it's a really good shade to bronze with, or even to contour. And then what else did I use? So after highlight, I went in with, I went in with my Revolution lip liner in the shade Glory, which is a deep chocolate shade, and then I went in with the e.l.f. matte lip color in the shade Rich Red. It's a really nice shade. You can see it's still on my lips, but you can see there's a bit of a ring as well. So I don't know if this lipstick color will actually last as long as it's supposed to, I think. It feels a bit dry on my lips, but not so dry that I feel like I need to top up with lip gloss. It's kind of the usual dry feeling you get with a matte lip color, with a matte liquid lipstick rather. Actually, so jump into brows. I actually forgot. So I tried the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in the shade Neutral Brown. It's one of those double-ended pencils, and it's okay. It wasn't dark enough for all over my eyebrows, but it was good and actually light enough so I could use it in the front. So I think that's what I'm going to use it for, because it's so sheer. I can use it to fill in the front of my eyebrows, and it will just have that automatic faded effect. It won't be too dark. So I think that will definitely be useful for that. So in terms of the eyeshadow palette, I'm actually really impressed with, only because I didn't have any fallout. Like, I didn't even need to like swipe off anything from my under eyes at all. So the eyeshadow color I used was a rose gold eyeshadow. This is what it looks like. So the eyeshadow color I used was the rose gold eyeshadow, and it just looks so nice. This particular shade here is really pigmented, and the lighter shade in the pan is also very pigmented. Every other color has actually got decent pigment to it, so it's enough to do a smoky eye. But if you want a really, you know, deep smoky eye, you might need to go with a black, and this palette doesn't have a black. But I'm just really impressed with the fact that it didn't have any fallout, and I was a bit nervous about doing my face before my eyes. But the eyeshadow look turned out really well. And the dark brown shade actually didn't skip at all. It did apply properly, so I applied with enough pigment. So next I tried the 3-in-1 mascara. The only thing I'm finding really irritating about e.l.f.'s packaging is that sometimes they don't have enough information on them, because all the information is on the paper packaging on the outside, which is a bit irritating. I don't know, I'm finding that quite annoying, because it definitely needs to have more information on the container itself, on the actual product, not just on the outside packaging. But yeah, anyway, I tried the 3-in-1 mascara. I really do like it. It definitely, you saw how it added volume to my lashes. I definitely really like that. And in terms of the foundation, in terms of the eyeshadow base, I tried my Revolution Cut Crease canvas in the shade Etch. I wish I tried a lighter shade, but it's fine. It did definitely help the eyeshadow blend and apply really well. It helped me carve out my cut crease, and I think that turned out quite well, if I do say so myself. And then in terms of the last thing I used, and that was my Ankara black kohl eyeliner, just to line my eyes and just to, you know, make the whole look come together a bit more. I think that might be it. So, oh yeah, and I also tried some of their brushes. I actually had one other eyeshadow brush I forgot to use, but I really liked the foundation brush. The ultimate blending brush is so nice. I also have their stippling brush, which I didn't use today, but I have actually used this brush to apply my more runny foundations, and it applied it really well. People don't use it often enough, and I'm definitely going to use it more. But this is the ultimate blending brush that I use. It is really good. I will definitely buy more of these. And this is the cream and powder brush, which I use to do my contouring. And I also tried the highlighting brush. It's not my favorite. It's a bit too chunky and too big to highlight. I feel like it would just get highlight all over my cheekbones when I want it to be more concentrated, but it's okay. I think I might actually be able to use this for my under eyes to sweep powder away, which I think I might, that might be what I'll end up using this for in the future. Oh, and I use my Poundland liquid eyeliner in black to do a little wing line to cover up the false lashes. And I think if I'm, yeah, oh, and also, like I said, I had to use this finally, because after a few hours my nose started getting a bit shiny. It feels like it's dewy, but when I dab, there's nothing there. So I think it's just how the foundation is. It just has that natural dewy finish. I actually thought my nose was oily, but it actually isn't. But it just looks like it's oily because I'm not used to that dewy look on my face. But so yeah, that's everything I used today. I hope I haven't missed anything. And I actually didn't set my face as well. Yeah, I didn't really feel the need to, because I'm not really going anywhere. This is the finished look, and yeah, as per usual, the lighting I started with isn't the lighting I'm finishing with, but hey ho, such is life. I did start this makeup look quite late in the day. Yeah, I really like a lot of the products, and even the products that I thought I wouldn't like, because when I did try this, the banana setting powder, it just was so horrific. It had like a white cast under my eyes, and I actually like how I applied it today. So yeah, so we've got some great products from e.l.f. The only dud is the what do you call it, the illuminating palette. Yeah, I'm not really too sure about this, but everything else was, you know, good enough. So yeah, I definitely recommend the majority of these products. So if you do like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and please do hit the subscription button if you want to subscribe and see more from me, and hit the bell if you want to get notifications when I upload. So until next time, stay blessed. Bye.